One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. So let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm standing at the crossroads, feeling like a lost soul. Don't know where I wanna go, but all I know is I wanna be free. They're telling me to let it be, but that just ain't in me, no. Jealousy and envy, but all I see is I wanna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Don't let it get the most of me. Eventually, I'm gonna be free. See everything I wanna be, exactly what I'm gonna be. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I'm gonna be free. Let me be free. One day I'm gonna be free. Mentally and physically, emotionally and spiritually. Yeah. One day I'm gonna be free. I told them take their aim off me. Stop trying to get a name off me. If they would just let me be, I'm gonna be free. I told them take them chains off me and throw away the locks and keys. If they would just let me be, eventually I'm gonna be free.
They're back.
What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? 7 more days. We back again for another episode of The Dominant Effect. I'm Archbishop. We got Mike Ball. We got Aaron Olinger. And what's up, everybody? I hope everybody is doing well. Everything is, all the stuff that's going on these days, man. I put peace and blessings to every household that's listening to this. But before we get started tonight, once again, like we always do, we check and see what everybody done for the week. So, Aaron, what's up, brother? How was your week?
Oh, it's been pretty good. And, I told you I was having some health issues and dealing with dizzy spells and things. But since I've been taking these herbal teas and tonics and supplementing with vitamins and other things and just changing my diet to a more healthier diet, as of today, I could say I feel like my old self is coming back. So I'm real happy to know that it's making that big of a difference. And I'll stop there.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Mike?
It was a great 4th of July weekend for me. We had a, nice, cool 4th of July party. It was a good time. Black Dragon even pulled up. We had Hardwire pulled up. We had Beezer pull up. It was a great time. And aside from that, I bought a new car, but I've had the entire time, I've basically had just nothing but issues the entire time. So super fun dealing with that kind of shit. I got Naomi here hanging out with me as well. And yeah, everything's going well over here.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, my fourth was pretty good actually. Got to spend it with my kids, and we had a good time. Um, they are back home with their mothers now, so it was kind of sad to have to send them back. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, it was a good time with them though. I mean, I had them for a few weeks, and it was like I said, I had a good time with them. So now it's back to the drawing board, as they say.
Right.
Um, yeah, but everything going good though, man. We've been got a lot of stuff we've been messing around with and making little moves here and there. So it's some stuff I'll be popping out here soon. But right now everything is in kind of going through its process, and we're gonna let it see what it do. So um, so we're gonna jump into this topic, and um, actually this topic was something that Aaron had came to me with a few weeks ago, wanting to do. And he had like 6-7 pages of notes that he took on this because he had seen something that he wanted to talk about it. And just so happens the stuff that's going on now kind of went right along with what he wanted to talk about a few weeks ago. So today what we're going to do is Aaron is actually going to be the one that's going to be running most of this time, because this is kind of like his baby. He the one did all the research on this. Now, mind you, I mean, I done did my own little research on it, but being the fact that he came up with all this, I'm gonna let him spearhead it this evening. So Aaron, I'm gonna let you start, and then me and Mike gonna pick up and commentate or whatever, ask you questions or whatever. But we're gonna turn it over to you.
Okay, well, did you want to cover the EAS system and things first, or
Um, well, sure. Yeah, I can bring up the EAS.
yeah, because
So,
yeah,
okay, so basically, what this shows tonight is about is the EAS system, and you have the federal EAS system. It's the one that you usually see on TV where it says this is just a test, and you hear that loud tone for about 30 or 40 seconds, and then you have the local EAS system where pretty much the same thing, but they kind of test theirs like once a month or whatever. So what we're going to talk about is what happens when that EAS system comes on and it's not a test.
Mhm.
And what do you do? How long do you have to prepare for something that just that's going to come? Because you don't really know what's going on at this point in time. It kind of draws us back to the recent events that's happened in Texas with the mass flooding that went on there. And we also have the same thing that's going on in Mexico right now. Um, they're talking about this once in a generation type storm, but this it's not a once in a generation type thing.
Right.
With right now with the climate change and shifting the currents and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that mainstream is not telling us about, that we actually found, and which is kind of given these storms are like slow moving storms. So they're going through and they dropping a whole lot of water in a short amount of time. So case in point, in Texas, on July 4th, where they had this massive flooding, and that particular area is called Flash Flood Valley. It's called that because the Guadalupe River floods a lot.
And I didn't even know that area was even called that until you said that behind the
Mhm.
scenes. I was like, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it floods a lot there. And you had on July 4th, it picked up 26 feet of water in 45 minutes. and completely
Damn.
decimated that area. And as of right now, you have over 119 unalive, 36 children. You got 161 that's missing, and then statewide, you got 173 that's unaccounted for. But this has been the most massive one that happened out
Mhm.
of that river, but it wasn't the biggest. So this one
Interesting.
here, the um, the peak water level ended up being 37.52 feet. The actual record there was set in 1869, and it was 40 feet.
Damn.
Um, but there has been, you had another occasion in 1987 where it went to 31 feet, and there was 10 people that was unalive. And then in 2015, it also flooded to 32 feet at that point. Now, you think like, okay, one happened in 1869, one happened in 1987, one happened in 2015, and then the one that happened now in 25. But from what I found out is that that particular area, there has been 15 other occasions where that river has flooded at least 25 feet
Oh,
on
wow.
15 other occasions. So
Since
that's
that
not,
time frame? Since the
yes,
original time frame that you were talking about,
yes.
like 18.
So that's not
Wow.
a generational flood. That's not a generational storm. It happens there. Now, being the fact that it does happen there so routinely, you would think that there would be better uh,
Flood
alert systems,
control.
more watch in that particular area due to the fact that that river floods the way it floods.
Right.
Now, um, so with your local EAS, we'll jump into that. So with your local EAS, it's a consensus for multiple reports from local emergency systems. Includes mandatory broadcasts, TV, radio, and cell phones. Wasn't used on the July 4th flooding. It was not used.
Why?
Instead, officials rallied on a code red, which is a local mass notification system that um, that was activated late and is inconsistent. And the reason why it was activated late is because when the National Weather System issued out a flash flood alert at 1:14 a.m. on the 4th of July. Now, the volunteer firefighters in that area requested a code red activation at 4:22 a.m. Now, the thing with the code red is that you have to get approval to issue a code red. So it's not like
They just do it from like
right,
sensors or radar, whatever. It's got
exactly.
to be approved by somebody.
Exactly. So
Damn.
you had a lot of discussion between the dispatchers and the supervisors dealing with whether or not they should issue this code red. So at 5:34 a.m. is when they first initiated the code red. But many of the residents didn't even receive the code red alert until 10, 11 o'clock a.m. And by that time, it was already flooding.
Yeah, it's way too late. It's
Right.
over.
As opposed to doing the local EAS, which would have triggered cell phone, everything, and put out that warning. Now, here's the thing about this: in neighboring towns like Comfort, Texas, they had outdoor sirens installed back in 2024.
Hmm.
They're also in that area, and they suffered 0 casualties due to this effectiveness.
Mm.
But Kerr County had repeatedly rejected these siren installations.
Why?
So A lot of this stuff has been going through the city council, local government, stuff like that, and they've been pushing it to the side, not doing it.
It's got to be a money thing, huh?
I don't know whether it's a money thing
Or a
they
political.
thinking that they don't really need it. Could be political. Don't know.
Right.
But it wasn't used. It wasn't adapted. There was no system actually put in Kerr County, and this is what happened. But if you had used the actual local EAS system, it would have alerted everybody, and you wouldn't have the toll that they're looking at right now. I mean, so this is some of the stuff that we're gonna be talking about. But on the federal level, you have the national emergency, but it's the national broadcast system that you see on there, and it's more of a presidential alert. And so, who activates it? The national system, the president of the United States, or his designee, someone that they have assigned to it. So, what happens? All radio, television, satellite radio, cable systems, wireline video providers, everything is interrupted. You get that loud EAS tone in a broadcast, followed by both spoken and text message from the federal authorities as to what's going on. It's a no opt out system. So meaning whether it's TV, radio, cell phone providers, none of
You're
them
gonna
can
get it.
refuse that signal. You have to let it go through. And you can plus your phone, you know what I mean, just like how you had like an Amber Alert, for instance. How your phone buzzes and give you that chime, and it keeps doing it until you go through it and actually turn it off. It's gonna keep buzzing for you to look at that message. They're most commonly used for tornadoes, tsunami warnings, Amber Alerts, evacuation orders, chemical spills, civil emergencies, civil unrest. And then you have, your local radio and TV. They will also do that broadcast explaining what all is going on and what preventive precautions you need to take in order to make it through whatever it is going on.
Now, does the local level need to have approval like the federal level does?
No. So with the local level, it's a
like direct.
It's a direct system. So either your mayor or your governor can alert that system. Right now, you have designees in the state level. You have designees in each county that can go in and start that EAS system for that particular area. It's not
right. It's not a whole state thing. Right.
Right. You can localize it to that particular area. You don't have to have it statewide, as opposed to a national system, which would go everywhere. Now, they can actually centralize a national system. They can actually centralize it. But they had, as far as I looked up, they only had like one time that the national system was actually activated, and that was back in Hawaii in 2018, where they had a ballistic missile alert. They came out, and of course, everybody panicked, thinking that this ballistic missile was getting ready to head to Hawaii, and then it was canceled. So they into that to say whether or not it really happened. Was it something that was shot down? They just kind of like, oh yeah, it was just a glitch in the system. What they said, and just left it at that.
Damn.
So you have those two systems. You know what I mean? You have the local and you have the national. The local, like I said, was not used. And one of the biggest things that's dealing with the local, as opposed to using that code red system, is that with the code red system, it's it only reaches people that's registered for that system.
Oh, how lame is that?
Right. So if you're not registered to use, I mean, to be a
Like,
part
if
of
I
that
don't have that
system, you
exact
don't even
application downloaded or whatever,
exactly.
that's lame.
You don't get that, as opposed to the local EAS system where all your phones, your TV, your radio will be interrupted and put that warning out.
Interesting.
So it was a lot of this. It's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? Of course, they try to blame the National Weather Service and was talking about, well, it was because of the budget cuts and stuff like that. The reason why it wasn't, it wasn't effective, which was not true. Yes, there were budget cuts, but there were people there working, and they did see this storm coming, and they did put out an actual, flood watch, flood warning. But you don't see that if you're not watching television. This,
Right.
you know what I mean? So all this stuff came out in the middle of the night. You're not getting no warning unless you're sitting there watching TV.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You have to use this local EAS system, which they did not use. And when they did try to, they decided to use this code red system instead. But by the time it was discussed between everybody involved, and then they decided to actually do it and
Right.
then put the warning out, by the
Way
time the
too
people
late.
got it, they already getting flooded.
Yeah.
So there
That's
was no
insane.
warning. Right. So there was no warning. And now you're looking at the tolls that you have now, and it's steady climbing because of human error.
Right. Lack of communication from human error.
Exactly.
That's negligent as all hell, right?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
insane. So, based off of a warning system, is why we're seeing such a humongous death toll, not just because that's how many people usually die from a flood, right? It comes down to this system that they decided to use, which is
Right.
negligent.
Right. Now, like there's always been storms that came through that did massive damage. You know what I mean? Just last year when you had in Asheville, North Carolina, massive flooding in a place that didn't flood. You sitting in the middle of the mountains, not supposed to flood there, but it did.
Right.
You see what happened. You didn't have nowhere near the toll that you have here in a valley that they consider being the flash flood valley. Why would you not have the proper warning systems there for those people that live in that area?
No kidding.
I mean, whether the local government wanted to pay the money for these sirens or not, didn't make a difference. You know what I mean? State could have picked that up and done that. Federal could have picked that up and done that to make sure that you had some kind of warning system out there.
No kidding.
For those people, especially when you can go into the neighboring towns who was proactive about it and actually put the sirens out and had zero casualties.
Wow.
I mean, so it's a lot.
What a difference, right?
Huge difference. So you think about how many lives could have been saved from a siren.
No kidding.
How many lives could have been saved for using the EAS system instead of the code red system that you had to sit there and discuss and figure out whether or not to use it or not, when you could just use the local EAS system, block off everything, and get as many people out the way as possible. Didn't happen.
Damn.
Right.
I feel really blessed with having sirens here. We've had them go off a couple of times for tornadoes, and it's never been at like 1 a.m. or anything like that, but not yet, anyways. But I'll hear it from the sirens before I see it anywhere else. It's immediate. I can hear it right away. Like boom, all of a sudden, everyone get ready, shelter down. Like I'm not even looking at my shit. I'm going.
Right. You know what I mean? And most of the towns in the Midwest, they all have sirens because, there's a lot of tornadoes that go through there. So when you hear them sirens, you automatically know, okay,
it's time to bunker down. We're going.
Gotta do something. You know what I mean? So there's something going on, or you're going to hit that radio and see, you hear that and you gonna hit that radio and see exactly what it is that's going on. You're gonna
True.
stop in your tracks. If that TV hit that signal, you're gonna look and see what's going on. Okay, we gotta move. You know what I mean? Same thing could have happened here, but it didn't.
Mm.
You know.
How sad.
So and you got the video as to what's going on in New Mexico
Yep.
right now.
Yep, I do. I do
You
have
got
that.
you got the same thing going on. Now, whether they use the system or not, I don't know.
Right.
But
True.
let's just let them see what this flooding actually looks like.
Yeah, this is reported from the Associated Press right
Oh
here.
my gosh, y'all look.
That's a house right there.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's insane.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh.
I was actually riding my motorcycle when it started raining, and I
How crazy is that? Just wanted to show
Yeah.
that insane ordeal
Right.
right there.
You got whole houses just washing down the road, you know, and just as quick as all that water happened, it disappears.
No kidding.
You know, but in the wake, look what all that you got going on. You know what I mean? Massive damage. You know, up to tens of, I mean, I think this one here is going to be up to tens of billions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
With what all has happened here. Now you got the same thing that happened in New Mexico, dealing with these slow moving depressions that's basically just going over areas and just stalling, and it's just dumping water. You know, we were supposed to have one here in Florida over last weekend, but it ended up going more off of the coast over into the Atlantic. So we didn't, I mean, like we got rain, but we didn't get it like they thought we was going to get it, you know, because they were saying at first that it was just going to settle right across.
And that's the worst thing that can happen right there.
Right. And just sit there and just dump water.
Yeah.
You know, and it did in some areas, it did dump, you know what I mean, but nothing like they thought it was at first. You know what I mean? So we actually was scathed on that end. But there's several places now that you got to think this storm that's in New Mexico right now, it's going to keep traveling. It's going to hit these other states as it's going through traveling. It's going to do the same thing. It's a slow moving storm. It's going to dump water. So it's going to flood. You're going to have flooding that's going on through this. So you got to be more proactive. You got to be prepared for this kind of thing here. So Aaron, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Okay.
And I want you to just kind of give them like what happens when, because I think based on what you're talking about, it can actually go for both, but more on the national level is what you had on there. But what happens when that siren goes off?
Well, I'm going to start off by saying right now in my research, the United States does not have an adequate civil defense program in place. When I was back in the 60s, we had the Cuban Missile Crisis. Every building was marked fallout shelter or safety area, and they were stocked. Today, if you find a building that has that sign still up, the inventory that was there to stock it is no longer there. So if you went in the basement and you hung out, there's no water, no food, nothing for you to drink, no resources. So it's slow starvation for you. So knowing that they don't have that, that's one of the reasons why we encourage people to prep, to get out in front of this. I'm going to say a profound statement, and then I'm going to explain it. And that is that most people don't understand the seriousness of something until it hits them emotionally. I'm use COVID as an example. We had people licking toilet seats, buttons in elevators, door handles, because they didn't believe it existed. They didn't take it serious. But if you had family members that died, if you had friends that died, and you saw them suffer, and there wasn't much the hospitals could do to help them, and you watched that slow death, it impacted you emotionally and ingrained in you so hard that you understood the seriousness of this. Today's purpose of today's program is to save people that personal seriousness exposure. We're going to explain to you the seriousness of it and hope that you get it. So right now in the world, as Bishop and Mike spoke of, you've got floods that's going on. And if it's not floods, it's wildfires. What's the bad effect of both of them? They kill crops. So it reduces the availability of food. Then you've got enemy nations like China saying they can shut down our 9/11 system with cyber attacks, shut down water treatment plants, shut down our power grid, shut down communication, shut down transportation. Okay, and Russia, China, and Iran have excellent cyber divisions. The way they've been hacking in and out of our systems, I believe it's totally possible. And right now, the entire United States runs on a system called just in time. Before, different organizations and businesses would rent warehouse space. I don't know who invented the system. The system works. Everybody got away from renting warehouses. Everybody just goes with the just in time where deliveries will show up and resupply everybody from banks all the way down to hospitals. Even your job relies on just in time. It's fully entrenched in our system. So if you can find a way to bring down transportation, you eliminate just in time. Now, when things is normal, just in time is good. But when things get bad, and COVID proved how easily and how fragile just in time is, it's hanging by a string. In times of trouble, it fails. So, what we're going to discuss is locations and organizations, how they will respond when that emergency alert sounds. And I hope that you realize that you're not going to be able to go out at the last minute and acquire certain goods. And I can give you a time frame of how fast things is going to evaporate. Resources will evaporate. So some of this you need to get out in front of. Others, it becomes a matter of timing. So let's start off with gas stations because your two choke points that you're going to run into are going to be grocery stores and gas stations. When that emergency alert sounds, people are going to leave their job. There's going to be mass panic. They're going to run for the gas stations and the grocery stores. So let's start off with gas stations. Each gas station has 2 to 3 days of gas. One gas station for every 5,000 people in the United States. They contain 10,000 gallons of gasoline at each location. You have 150,000 stations across the United States. They rely on tanker truck deliveries every 2 to 4 days. Now, semi trucks right now, they currently transport 70 to 80% of all freight delivered in this country. But they also consume 60 to 65% of all diesel fuel. If China or Russia brings down transportation, or you have terror cells over here, because we're being threatened with terror cells, if they start shooting at trucks and doing bombings, or they can break into and do cyber attacks and activate those self-driving cars and self-drive semis, they're going to create wrecks on the highway.
That'd be insane.
And we know from hurricanes and storms, when the roads are blocked, the resupply is not coming. So how do you guys feel about it, Mike and Bishop? Do you guys want to comment any on that?
Well, I know dealing with the gas stations. I know back last year when we had the hurricanes that came through here. Them gas stations went dry quick. It was probably less than a day that all the gas stations in this area was completely dry. I ended up leaving right before the storm hit, and I went about, give or take, 80 miles before I was able to get gas.
Damn.
And then when I came back up, luckily I had filled up before I got back into this area. But there were the stations that were open that just happened to have had gas there. There was lines about a mile and a half, 2 miles long. People was out there fighting.
That's crazy.
I mean, it was all kind of stuff going on. Like they was, but it was like instead of when you have a situation like that and you know that the gas is scarce,
People become animals.
you would go right. You would think that people would go and get just what you need and keep going. You know what I mean? Like you know that you go there, fill up, and go. But you have people that pulled up. They wanted to fill up with gas. Then they wanted to fill up gas cans. Then they were trying to cut people that they knew, trying to cut them in and try to get them gas, which started a lot of fights.
Hell yeah, it does.
And that's exactly what happened in some of these spots. And there was another one that I was actually able to get some gas at, and the only reason why I was able to get gas there was because my car is flex fuel, and the only thing that they had was at E89, and I was able to get it.
You were able to use it.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was the only reason why I was able to get gas right there, because that was all they had. Everything else was gone.
Man, that sounds like a movie. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and it was like that. I mean, it was like that everywhere. You know what I mean? You couldn't get gas here for, it was almost a week before the gas truck started moving. I mean, so when you heard that it was trucks moving, because, like storm hit here, but it didn't hit here directly. It hit a little further north of here.
Mm-hmm.
So it messed up a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? The 75 coming down, 75, 95, it knocked. I mean, it messed up
Damn, that
a
whole
lot going that
section.
way. Right. So you couldn't, those gas trucks couldn't come through right off. You know what I mean? And they had to wait for all that stuff to clear. Plus you had storm surge and everything else. So it wasn't like they was just free to just come down here and just start dumping gas. So you had to just hold on and wait. You know what I mean? And I mean, luckily, like I said, I had some gas cans here that I had on standby. I had a friend
Ready
of
to
mine.
go.
He lost gas. I had to go use a can to get him off the road.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, so when that happens, that's the first thing they do. They jump straight to gas station and the supermarket. That's where they're gonna hit to try to load up as quick as possible. But when you lose power, I mean, like a lot of people go there and they try to buy all the meat, milk.
How are you going to savor it?
Else. Right. But you don't got nowhere to keep it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's usually meat, milk, toilet paper. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, COVID proved that one.
And they clear it out. You know what I mean? And all the water that they can get up out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually, when you go to the store, you're not going to find none of that stuff. So, the best thing for that I've done was that, you start stocking up for that stuff when there's no storms around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can usually catch good deals, especially like on cases of water and stuff like that. You usually catch good deals on them. So, I keep 9-10 cases of water in here all the time, and I just, use it and then restock it. You know what I mean? Don't just leave it there.
Right.
Because you don't want to leave nothing sitting in no plastic bottles for no long period of time anyway.
Yep, it'll oxidize.
And then I'm going to add to that, you can legally have up to 24 gallons of gasoline stored on your property. This is something that you can get out in front of. You can get you some extra gas cans, put stable into it. It will keep the gas good for 2 to 3 years, and you can keep extra gas because you don't want to be in them lines and get trapped out in the open if attacks are occurring or snipers are out there, anything going on. You don't want to get caught in the open. So if you can already have gas on hand, that's going to be your best bet to do.
You know what? Let me ask you this, Aaron, since you said that. Now, I always had a problem dealing with that. So I'm going to ask you. Now, dealing with them gas cans, and yeah, you can put stable in to hold the gas to make it last longer. It's hot, super hot, all the time. Mm-hmm. So, when you got a gas can, you got it sitting in the storage bin or in your garage or whatever, that gas can swells.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what's the best thing to do if you're going to keep gas like that? To keep those cans
that's a great question.
From swelling, but not actually leaving the cap off to where it can spill and cause another situation.
I don't tighten my caps all the way down. If it's wintertime, I do. If it's summertime, I leave them slightly loose so that they will vent that pressure. Because I agree with you. I don't like that, and I'm afraid that will start something. Most of my gas cans are the military jerry cans, the metal ones, because they could take more of the pressure than the plastic ones can. Plus, they last longer. But I keep the lid slightly loose just to be able to vent that pressure during the summer months.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to go to grocery stores, which is the second choke point for people. When they hear that emergency alert, people are going to be running for the stores. You'll find yourselves in long lines just to get into the parking lot, and you should expect that. After that emergency alert sounds, stores will be cleared out in 3 to 5 hours, and we've seen that during bad storms. Things just get emptied out. I mean, in my area, they predict a quarter of an inch of snow, and you go to the grocery store and you wait too long to go in the evening, you're not going to find no canned goods. There's not going to be no bread. There's not going to be no dairy. The shelves are just empty. Now, most stores have a 3 to 4 day supply of food, and they're totally dependent upon just in time. Now, 80% of the grocery stores count on food that is trucked in. And if trucking stops due to transportation being down, you're going to have total chaos, because when the stores cannot meet the demand of the customer with the supply, chaos is going to ensue. And you know, from even watching real life versus movies, when people go to them grocery stores, they're not getting in line to pay for them groceries. They pushing them carts out to their cars, and be damned if you get in the way, you're going to get ran over. I mean, people will panic. And that's what you should expect. And that's another reason why you want to stock up in advance, to where you don't have to deal with the higher prices, because people are going to price gouge, and you don't have to deal with people fighting to take stuff out of your cart or shoving a weapon up in your face when you come outside, because they don't want to stand in line, and they're just going to take your stuff from you.
Comes down to force sometimes.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I remember when we watched that, when we did the show on that movie Homeland,
Right.
and it was showing people that was in the stores. As soon as they were coming out with their cars, they were getting mobbed. They would just take everything that they just went in there and bought.
That was a great episode that we
Yeah.
talked about there.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot on there.
So real
Somebody
quick,
asked you a
yeah.
question.
So
Aaron.
I'm gonna put it there, but real quick on that topic, it just sounds like there's so many things we take for granted our comfortability day to day, relying on resources that are just there, kind of things such as food or gasoline or diesel or whatever the case is. It just seems like it's so easy for all of this to just topple down real
Mhm.
quick.
Mhm.
It can be just from fuel, then can't fuel the trucks, can't fuel the rest of the economy. There's so many layers here, and I think the stress about being prepared on our shows is immense. I think that is the number one take from this show. Real quick, I'm going to give a couple of shout outs. Got K2 coming in with the mic ball and all the balls in the emoji list. I appreciate you, K2. As well as saying my company has LNG and CNG and diesel. Yes, sir. I totally listen. I used to work in oil, so me and you can talk about that. We can geek about that later on in the Discord. We got Midlife Bro Logic as well coming in. Another great, fantastic streamer saying, ask Aaron what is first choice on the wall to repel home invaders if he can't reach his gun first.
Well, let's see. I like the spear for distance, to be able to get range on someone. But if they're coming through the door, I like that double-headed axe up there, because I can hit them coming and I
And
can hit them going.
Hell
on both
yeah, I
sides of
heard that.
So, yeah.
Well, hey, shout out to everyone that's donating, by the way. So thank you guys.
And let me add another point to the gasoline thing. If you maintain your car in good condition, you're keeping up with all the preventive maintenance and things, and it's a 2005 or newer, if you can maintain a half a tank of gas, you'll be able to go 178 miles in any given direction. And if there's no gas stations along the route, you know you're going to make at least 178 miles. So as long as your bug out location or relative's house is within that distance, you have a chance of making it. But I saw during when Atlanta had a quarter inch of snow on their highway, and they're not used to getting snow down there, traffic was backed up for days. And people who only had a quarter ounce of gas in their, a quarter tank of gas in their car, they ran out right there. And it was cold. Those that could walk to the local McDonald's or stores went in there and was sleeping on the floors. They had a big thing about it on CNN. But every car that stopped because it ran out of gas became a roadblock for the traffic that was behind it. And that's the reason why you don't want to let your tank drop below half if you can help it. Do you guys want to add anything, or do you want me to go on to the next category?
Well, I know I always keep. Well, I may not always keep my truck at a half, but my bike stay full. So
There you go.
because I can get more miles out of my bike than I can my truck.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean?
Damn.
Now I do know that if I, you know what I mean, if I gotta go, I mean, if I gotta bug out and I gotta go, then, I mean, of course I'm taking my truck. You know what I mean? I keep one bug out bag in the back already. You know what I mean? So if I gotta
It never
hit
goes.
the
It never
trailer up or whatever
never
and take
comes
off,
out.
that's what I gotta do. Yeah, right.
Smart.
But I do know that I mean, if I'm just around here, I mean, I keep that bike full because I can move around on that bike because I can get those 6 gallons that I put in that bike. I can get about 250 out of that. So I can get a little further on the bike. And if I'm sitting in somewhere where there's a lot of traffic, if I'm on my bike, I can get through that traffic because I can hit the median, I can lane split, whatever.
Yeah.
Get on down the road.
That's all I used to ever do was lane split. In California, you got to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're not riding on the highway for real.
And my last point on gas is this: if China brings down the power grid and brings down transportation or brings down both, like they claim they can do, with no power, there's no power to run the gas pumps to be able to fill your cars or fill the semi trucks that make the deliveries. And if transportation is down, deliveries aren't coming, period. So understand, if resupply comes to your area, you're going to be one of the lucky few. So let's move on to cell towers. And this is important to note. During the best times, cell towers can facilitate the communication of 500 to 1,000 users at one time. That's 500 to 1,000 simultaneous calls. During disasters, the system will be easily overwhelmed. Most have a backup battery supply that will last 4 to 8 hours. So that's your time frame. If we are cyber attack system goes down, your cell phones will still be good for 4 to 8 hours. Then after that, your cell phone, if you can keep a charge on it, would be just to pull information off of the things you got saved on it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to communicate. Why do you bring down communications? Because people are going to panic when they cannot talk to their relatives. People that are bedridden are going to want relatives or friends to come take care of them or come and get them. They're not going to be able to call for help. You're not going to be able to call 911 for help. If you've got someone that's injured because it's a mass casualty event, terrorism, nuclear war, etc., help is not coming because you have no means of communication. Now, if you have citizens band radios, if you have GMRS radios, if you have ham radios.
Ham radios, I was just about to say, yes, sir.
You're going to be able to get a signal out. Now, they have these the rapid radios that they're advertising with unlimited range. Let me tell you what the Achilles heel is on that. The Achilles heel is it runs off the cell towers. That's the reason why it has the unlimited range. When them cell towers go down, them rapid radios, it ain't going to be worth the money that it took to make them.
You got to work off of repeaters now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want the ability to communicate, now's the time to be getting the proper stuff and get yourself trained or get yourself licensed if you're going to go with the ham system. But now's the time to start working on it. Knowledge is power. And I'm going to say that throughout this episode here. The more you can learn to be self-reliant, the better you're going to be when that emergency alert sounds. But keep in mind that all the systems work on power. And if the power grid goes down, that's the number one target in the United States. Even though Obama's made that movie, The World We Left Behind, because that was the biggest fear that they've got. that someone's going to take a power grid down and we're not protecting it. Number one target, everything works on power. Power is the core of our whole civilization right now. Without it, we're going to go back into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys want to add anything to the cell towers or?
Yeah, I've been thinking about, you know what, actually I've been thinking about adding a CB in my truck. I do have ham radio. And I had it got it programmed and all that stuff. I actually need to go and do the class to take, to get the license or whatever. But I found this other little box that you could use, that you could hook it up, and it would pull everything that you needed and programmed it directly to your ham. So you didn't have to go through like the old school way and sit there and find everything and point and click and do all the extra.
That's funny. I didn't know that.
It did it for you. Yeah, it's a
I
pretty
just
good
remembered the frequency that I was working off of.
Yeah, it's a pretty good little gadget. Matter of fact, I got it sitting over there. I'll grab it and show it to you. Hold on a minute. I'll grab it right quick.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love ham radio. Anything like that is super, I don't know, like totally gets my geek side. I love the communication in that aspect. Just being able to communicate and when no one else can. Yeah, it feels good to be able to do that.
Yeah, so you got this little thing here, little gadget here. And
I've never seen that.
And you take it and you plug it right into your Bofang.
And so does it know that you want like weather or you want disaster?
There's an app that comes along with this. So you go in, plug it in right on the side there.
Mm-hmm.
There's an app to your phone.
Sure.
You can go through and it'll show you all the radio stations that's in that
pretty
area.
Fancy.
So whether it's police, fire, it shows you the private stations, all that stuff. And you go through and click whatever you want and then hit the button and it'll put everything on here. And you just go through and click, everything's right there. Yeah, this is a little gadget I found online. It runs about like $10-15, but
Damn.
it will completely program that ham
That's
radio
awesome.
for you.
Real quick, Gunpowder Nitro says radio operators was priceless in North Carolina during the floods. I can only imagine during such disaster during that time. And K2 real quick comes in, says, I have a CB in my pickup truck. Yes, sir. I'm sure you absolutely do. It's a great way to communicate with other truckers for damn sure.
Okay.
Now, what about hospitals, Aaron?
Well,
that's a good question too.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. You're not going to like what I'm about to say. Hospitals are a prime target for terrorist groups over here because it's seen as a soft target, for one.
Totally.
And then two, right now in the United States, hospitals average 1.4 beds for every 1,000 people. Now, when times are good, that system works. But in an emergency, they can expand that up to 20%. By 20%, I'm talking military tents on hospital grounds to be able to hold extra people and maybe putting patients in the hallways and stuff that aren't as in need, I guess, because they're going to do a triage. But I'm going to tell you this, when things get bad, and common sense is going to tell you when I get sick or I get hurt or it's a mass casualty event or prolonged illness, I'm going to go to the hospital to get well. Common sense is going to tell you that. That's the last place you want to go. I mean, right. And let me explain why. After they set up those military tents, after the hospital receives so many people, they're going to go into a lockdown. Side doors are going to be locked. Once they reach their capacity, they're going to lock it down. And you could be out there severely hurt and you're not going to be able to get access to come inside. Just want you to know that's part of some of the emergency stuff that's in place. They will go into a lockdown. I'll give you an example. In my area, we have a population of 133,000. Over the last 20 years, they've been shutting down hospitals. We're down to 4. Now, we might have 2,200 beds, but we got 133,000 people. If 10,000 people in a mass casualty event or prolonged illness, some new pandemic that comes out that's moving fast, hits, and say 12,000 people are hurt, you only got 2,200 beds. And there's only so many doctors. So what are you going to do? The system becomes overwhelmed. Right now, the emergency rooms operate and run on a 85 to 90% full capacity on any given day. They're almost at full capacity. Only 4% of the U.S. hospitals in the United States are equipped to handle a prolonged mass casualty event. 4%. Most hospitals only store 3 to 5 days of medical supplies. They are dependent upon the just-in-time system. Also, even though in an emergency they have generators on the roof, but those generators are going to require to be refilled with diesel, or if they're gas fired, they're going to have gas to run them. If the hospital has no power, they're resorting to medieval medicine. I mean, on the 19th of this month, I've already signed up for a CPR class. I've already taken a combat medicine class. I'm going to recertify to take some first aid classes to just put it fresh in my memory. The more you can do for yourself, the easier that you can handle blood loss or be able to stop people from bleeding, you've got a chance to save their life. Right now, even though every hospital will tell you we have emergency systems set in place, they are not built to handle mass casualty events. They're basically, hospitals are not designed for a situation where everyone gets sick or hurt all at once. Do you guys want to direct anything to that?
Well, all hospitals already have, like I said, they got 3 to 5 days of medical supplies anyway without any trucks coming into it. And
Right.
like during COVID, when those hospitals were overwhelmed, they didn't have enough ventilators. They didn't have the proper masks to be for people. I mean, it got real bad real quick. You had a lot of casualties because those hospitals were staffed to mass capacity. You know what I mean? Until you started, having nurses and doctors getting sick. You know what I mean? That's where where all the travel nurses and all them that came in and flooded those areas that they were having so many sick patients there. You know what I mean? Due to COVID. You know what I mean? You lost a lot of people when it came to COVID. I mean, I was one that had COVID. I sat in the hospital for a few weeks. Took like another 5-6 months after that to even get back on track. So I know full well what COVID could do. You know what I mean? And thank God I'm still on this side of the tracks. I mean, obviously it wasn't my time to go. I still have more things to do. But yeah.
So on COVID,
I know these hospitals don't have that capacity at all.
Real quick on that whole COVID ordeal. COVID alone, the official worldwide death report was just over 7 million confirmed fatalities. And then for the United States alone, the official confirmed death was about 1.19 to 1.22 million.
Okay.
So, I mean, whether those numbers are inflated or not, that's not up to me to decide. That's just what was
that's
reported.
Still, you know what I mean? That's a lot of death.
Yeah. I have some family that unfortunately passed from it.
I do too. Family and friends.
Yep.
So that's something that, I mean, for that mass of these hospitals could not even imagine having an event like that they would have to have that many people there. Even full trauma centers. I mean, mind you, I used to work in a trauma center for years, and I know damn well that we couldn't have been able to handle nothing like that. But especially for no extensive period of time. There's no way. that could have took place. So I think as a whole, we are way under where we're supposed to be dealing with hospital, power, food reserve. Now they say that the oil reserve is plentiful. That's what they say. But that's just in barrels. You still gotta take that and make it gas in order to be able
Refine
to
it.
use
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a struggle too. But what do you do in the meantime that this stuff is going on? So we know that hospitals going to be full, supermarkets are going to be bare, gas ain't pumping.
Right.
We know that. What do we do?
Well, let me go to banks now. Let's discuss what's going to happen at the banks.
We already know you ain't gonna get no money. We already know that.
So wait, when I go to the ATM, I'm not pulling out a couple $100.
If you get there first, you might be able to get it. But as I'm about to say, most banks keep very little cash on hand. Now, to be fully funded, they're supposed to maintain $200,000, but a lot of the banks are not keeping that kind of cash on hand, and they're getting in trouble for it.
They barely hold 50 grand.
I know, and it says, and if you try to take out a certain amount, you got to go through a bunch of red tape to get your own damn money. So
You feel like you're a criminal,
right,
trying to pull out your own damn money.
right, but it says that the ATMs will be emptied out in a matter of a few hours after the alert is given. I mean, the lines at the banks are going to be massive just to get inside the bank or to get up to an ATM. You must have physical cash in order to stock up after that after that alert is sounded. Only 10% of the money in circulation is in physical cash. Cyber attacks, power outages, or grid failure will leave you with no access to your cash. And once that occurs, cash will be king. This is going to be king right here.
Damn straight.
But 6 months down the road, it's going to be gold and silver.
Or ammunition.
I'm gonna come to that because you don't want to be trading no guns or ammunition because
You
you're
wanna
gonna get
keep
someone the ability to overwhelm you. Because when they get desperate and hungry, they're gonna be shooting them bullets right back at you. So
That's right.
don't ever do that. But keep in mind, you got to have that emergency fund at your house. FEMA says 3 to 4 months worth of money kept at your house in an emergency fund. But the bottom line is, once that emergency alert sounds, if you choose to shelter in place, all you're going to have is what you've got in your house. And that's it that you've got to hold on to until you try to outlast the situation. But if you guys want to add, go ahead.
Well, even with the banks right now, I mean, if you go in there and you asking for a certain amount of money, they're not trying to give it to you.
Right.
You already know that, and we've been having problems with that for the longest. And based on the current rate of the dollar right now, as it's been dropping. Right now, what is it? Was it 60 cent on the dollar right now?
Yeah.
That's the last report. It may have fluctuated up just a little bit, but it's relatively low.
Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And right now, you have a lot of these. There's something going on that we don't know about when it comes to this, because you have a lot of these countries that's stockpiling on gold and silver.
Yes.
You also have BlackRock that's been stockpiling on gold and silver. And right now, I think they're looking at over all their total investments and what they got going on right now. They're like well over 20 trillion. Just this company alone.
Yeah, it's insane.
Trillion. And they're trying to buy out every single thing known to man. They're trying to buy. They're trying to buy these gold mines. They buying silver mines. They buying lithium mines. It's a lot of stuff going on, and they're talking about the tons and tons of gold that BlackRock has jumped up and bought. here within the past year. They're not just doing this for nothing. You know what I mean? Then plus you got the BRIC nations that's also stockpiling on gold as well. So you know that there's gonna be a money crisis soon. There's gonna be a crisis to the point that this dollar ain't worth what it's printed on. We know this. So a lot of people are asking, okay, so we should just invest in gold and silver. Yes, but physical gold and silver, not the companies.
Yeah.
Physical gold and silver that you can hold in your hand.
That's right.
Okay, that's what you need to have. That's what you're going to be able to use. Now, there is a couple states right now, Florida being one of them,
Yep.
that you can use gold and silver as payment.
Yep. As currency.
Pay bills with gold and silver. So this is what they're doing in a couple states now, and I'm pretty sure, being the fact that they're doing that, and you also got the gold backs that also Florida has also produced, along with a couple of these other states, that they're gonna start doing that as well. And we talked about that before. There was a reason why they were doing that. We talked about this 5-6 months ago. It was a reason why they started making gold backs, because they knew something's getting ready to go on. We know something's going on because we've been talking about this for the past 5-6 months.
Okay. Now
Get yourself, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Get
I'm sorry.
yourself, if y'all don't pay attention to nothing else that we say, get your hands on gold and silver now while it is low. Silver especially. So silver is still low. Gold is right now is running 3,300 an ounce, something like that, 3,400 an ounce. Used to be way lower than that. Silver is running like 35, 36.
Correct.
Get your hands on that stuff now and just hold on to it, because I promise you, you're going to need it. Go ahead, Aaron.
Now, someone had asked the question, what about safety deposit boxes at the banks? Ask yourself this question. If you was a bank teller and you worked in the bank and the emergency alert came across and it said, United States is about to be attacked, or we are under attack, are you going to stay at your job station so that people can get in and get their safety deposit boxes open, or you going to leave and go home? And I'm going to tell you, in most disasters, people leave. Jailers leave jails. Policemen go home, protect their families against the looters. Katrina proved that. No one's going to stay. They're going to lock up those places, and you will not have access to your stuff. All you will have is what you have in your home. That's the reason why keeping low denomination bills, 1s, 5s, and 10s is important, and keeping a certain amount of money that you can barter, trade, do whatever with, to be able to acquire the resources that you're short on. That is vital to have that emergency fund. But let's move on to water, because this is a very important topic. You can only go 3 days without it before your body starts shutting down. Now, without power, because it takes power to run the pumps that pumps the water to your house that we take for granted, pressure will begin to drop within 2 to 6 hours. That's your time frame to start filling up buckets, containers, anything that's can hold water. You got 2 to 6 hours, because the average person's not going to know that. If everybody knew it, then
It'd be over.
Yeah, it would be over with much faster. But and especially you're going to lose pressure in high-rise buildings. If you live up on the upper floors, you're going to be hard pressed. Now, in my area, we have 18 water towers. I remember when Y2K was going on, I attended a civil thing for the population, and they sat up there and said, with the 18 water towers we have servicing Dayton and surrounding area, we can provide water for 3 whole days. And I'm looking at my friend. We were the only 2 preppers in the room. And I'm like, 3 days ain't nothing. What are you talking about? But everybody was, ooh, wow. No, that is nothing. Nothing. But water towers can give limited pressure for 1 to 3 days. That's your time frame. You got 1 to 3 days before that toilet ain't going to flush no more. Okay, in the USA, the average person uses 80 to 100 gallons of water a day for cooking, bathing, using the bathroom. Every time you flush that toilet, that's 4 to 5 gallons right there. cleaning, gardening, washing your car, washing clothes, drinking, watering your lawn. That's the average.
Damn. It's a lot.
And yeah, and when people tell you 1 gallon of water per day per person in an emergency, that's actually not enough. You'd almost need 3 gallons minimum. But let me keep going. If you have no water, you have no firefighting ability. You have no sanitation, you have nothing to drink, and you do not have the ability to flush that toilet. Now, upon me learning this and realizing this, I got on Amazon and I ordered in me a rain gutter diverter. I've already
Okay.
got the I
Yep.
already got the rain barrel. So with this, I can trap water and send it to 1 or 2 rain barrels that I would have. I can use that water. I could boil it and then put some chemicals in it or whatever to purify it or run it through my filters for drinking. I can bathe with it. If I boil it, I can wash my dishes with it. And leftover water, I can pour in the back of the toilet and keep that toilet flushing. And that's very important. You got to keep that toilet flushing because if you don't, you can end up with a cholera outbreak or any other waterborne disease could break out in your home.
Oh man.
You don't realize how bad it is, but you got to keep that toilet flushing and get that stuff away from your house. If you wait too long and you don't have any water, then you better have a nice trusty spade to go out there and bury that stuff because insects get in it, they're going to become contaminated. They will spread disease, biting
Mm.
you and things. So water, you got to have it. So plan for it. Have a water reserve in your house and then have the ways to procure it by rain catchment or if you know where a stream is, I mean, not, well, streams, creeks, rivers, and you know how to purify it, or you know where underground springs are that has a pump that you can pump the water out. But those are going to be dangerous spots to be because there people are going to be lined up. They're going to have guns in their hands. And if they don't have no containers, they're going to be willing to take yours from you. You're going to be making donations when you don't want to make a donation if they get the drop on you. So when people get desperate, they're going to do desperate acts. Do not underestimate the severity of that. Okay. With that, did you guys want to add anything regarding water?
Now, the only thing I would think on there was that, like I said, if you don't know how to make a rain catch system, you need to actually look it up. There's several ways that you can do it. Um, um,
Might
a
be
lot of,
illegal in your state.
but you right. That's what I was getting ready to say. You do have some states that makes it illegal for you to catch rainwater, which is like the stupidest thing
Insane.
I ever heard. But
Yeah.
that's what they do. But if you can, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. There's a lot of different things online that'll show you exactly how to build one, and they all work good. You know what I mean? Also, they used to make. I don't know whether they still make them now. I knew they used to do them back in the day, but they had those bladders, those huge bladders that you could put in the bathtub. You could fill it
Yes.
up, that you could be able to have that water.
It's called a water
Also,
bob. It's called a
yeah,
water bob. Yeah.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. You can
yeah,
get them on Amazon.
yeah. So they used to make the big ones that you could like put in the bathtub and it would like fill up.
Fill the whole
Yeah.
bathtub of it.
And then now I have some small ones here, and then I have some other ones that's small enough that you can put in like a backpack, and it's made just for that. You put the little bladder in there. You got the little spout come out. You can drink out the bladder or whatever and move on. Also they have a lot of the water purifiers. You got the straw. You got the water with the filters on them, stuff like that. There's a lot of different things that you can get to be able to purify the water. Iodine tablets. You can boil your water. You can use, like a pinch of bleach and boil the water and be able to do. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can use.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
tons of stuff. that
Mhm.
you can actually do. But like I said, you just have to be more proactive and actually look this stuff up. You know what I mean?
Knowledge is power. Yeah.
Where before you really didn't care because you could go and turn on your faucet and you know you're gonna get water. You know what I mean? But you need to think about, okay, well, what if this water shuts off? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, when the hurricane came here, first thing you're gonna do after you got everything else taken care of and you're gonna shelter in place, first thing you're gonna do, go in there and get your shower and then let that water heater fill up because you know that you definitely got water in that heater that you can get up out of there. You know what I mean? Along with anything else that you may have stored. You know what I mean? So you want that water heater full. And if you have it in the right spot, it's gonna stay. It won't be hot if you lose power, but at least it'd be lukewarm to where you'd be able to use that water to take a shower or whatever if need be. You know what I mean? But you need to that's the first thing I did. Jumped in the shower. I'm like, okay, because I know the power's getting ready to go out. And it did. And we were out for what 2.5 weeks with no power.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And trust me, everything that Aaron's talking about is stuff that I used here during those 2 weeks that we didn't have zero power. Okay. So when I talk about a lot of this stuff, this is stuff that not only am I talking about, but I've done it myself. And it works. You know what I mean? And it's easy to do. You just gotta be a little bit proactive and look up some of this stuff and just do it. You know what I mean? Like take a weekend, take a Saturday. You're not doing nothing. Look up some of this stuff and just try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And once you just be proficient at it, you know what I mean? Don't wait until something actually happens and then you're trying to figure it out. Just pick something.
Be too
Pick
late.
something on the weekend, something gonna take you 15, 20 minutes to do, and just do it. And just get proficient at it. You know what I mean? So when the time comes, you know what to do. I mean,
Right.
the panic is zero because you know
Right.
exactly what you need to do.
That's right. That's right. Now let's go to the category of electricity. Now, in the United States, most of the big transformers are over 40 years old. I'm not talking about the little ones that hang up on the telephone poles. I'm talking about the big ones that they got to bring in on a heavy lift semi and weigh so much that they got to reinforce the bridges before they cross them with that big thing. Our electric grid is very antiquated. It's really outdated, and it's going to be easy for those that want to take it down to take it down. Right now, most of those transformers take 16 to 24 months to make one, and they're manufactured overseas in Korea and China. Now, recently, I think it was last year, I remember they opened one up and got in there to try to see if they could repair it. And they found some sort of cutoff switches inside that if those received a satellite signal, the transformer would cut off. And these were all made in China. And we've been installing them for the last 20 years over here into our grid. And some of them's got automatic cutoff switches in them. Now, electricity, as we know, is the backbone of all modern civilizations. If you have one EMP, electromagnetic pulse, a cyber attack, an ice storm, a solar flare, it could shut the grid off. And the solar flares of significant intensity, it could shut down the whole system completely. So you got to have it. You got to have backup power. Can you live without it? Yeah, the Amish do it all the time. There's people that do it all the time. But when you've been so used to having it,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow to have to go without it. Plus, you got a deep freeze and refrigerator full of food that can extend the amount of time you can stay in your house if you can keep them running. So, what will be your backup power? And if you live in an apartment, I strongly advise you to get a solar system because you're not having to stock fuel. You can set the solar panels outside your window on the roof or on your balcony or whatever, and it can charge up and you can keep your freezers and stuff running. You can have power to run radios because being able to get information during this period is going to be vital. You've got to be tuned in to be able to get information over your radios or TV. But if you're going to be in an apartment, I strongly recommend a solar system, and it makes no noise, so they don't know you have it. If you're in your home and you got a gas powered one or propane powered or diesel powered generator, it's going to sound like a lawnmower running. And in just a day or two, people are going to realize you ain't over there cutting grass. You got a generator. And they're going to want to ask you, can I borrow it? And if you're stupid enough to give it to them, you'll never get it back.
Of course not.
And if you don't give it to them, the second or third time they show up, you better know they're going to be armed and they're coming to take the damn thing.
You better be
So
armed.
you better have some pew pews on hand with lots of freedom seeds that you can spread,
Mhm.
because you may have to defend
True.
your generator system. But
Mhm.
well, with that, I'll stop there unless you guys want to add something.
Yeah, we'll make them freedom seeds rain over this bitch. I'll tell you that. We'll make them rain over here. Yeah, but you yeah, dealing with that, like I said, with the power stations, yeah, you do have 9. You have 9 substations that you could hit that will completely black this out. I
Right.
mean, without using an EMP or a corona mass injection.
You just have to take out those 9 strategic.
Right, but you got to know which ones to do.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that is very possible. And if that happens, yes, I could send you straight back to
Yes, they do.
to the Stone Age, for real. Because by the time you actually get the right equipment to be able to fix those, it would take a large amount of time. It usually take about could be well over a year to get that fixed. If you just did those 9, it could take well over a year to do that.
Right.
But we all know that within the first 30, 60, 90 days, you're gonna eliminate a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of things is gonna happen. It's gonna happen real fast. So having a generator, either a solar generator or a gas power generator, you know what I mean? Here, like I said, here in Florida, everybody has a generator. Just about everybody has a generator.
You got to.
Because you got to. Down here, we got these storms. Just about everybody has one. And if you don't have one, and you live in Florida, then you basically retarded because everybody got one. And you can actually get them. And you can actually buy generators here fairly cheap, like fairly cheap. You can buy a generator here.
It's supply and demand. That's just not how it goes.
Right. I mean, like I bought a generator here that was like was it 7,000 watts, 6,800 watts. I got it for like $150.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Yeah. When you go somewhere else and you buy that generator brand new, that generator runs $800-900.
Yeah, no kidding.
You can readily get them here, except during hurricane season. Hurricane season, everybody gonna hold on to them.
Of course.
Wait out the hurricane season, you can get a generator for the super, super low. You know what I mean? So down here, everybody has them. But you thinking about Midwest and over on West Coast, stuff like that, don't nobody typically have
Hell
them.
no.
You know what I mean? So they're gonna be the ones that's gonna be most of the ones running around scared trying to get, you know, like oh, they got lights over there, you know what I mean, whatever. Here, I mean, if somebody got a generator across the street, I've seen people run extension cords from their generator over to their house, so that way they have power. You know what I mean?
I believe it.
I mean, like people do actually help out.
Let me plug in.
Right. Like they ain't coming trying to get you. Like I said, like we had 2.5 weeks here, and I mean, I had a generator going. Nobody never came over and messed with nothing. You know what I mean? Of course, I had it chained to the fence. So by the time,
damn straight.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna let you steal it
with about a lock
easily.
This big. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I got
you. Wasn't gonna easily steal it, but I mean, like I said, I hear that chain rattle, and I'm gonna rattle your ass when people come up out of there.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's what it was. But yeah, stuff like this you gotta have. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of people, like I said, the Midwest, like that, they be like, man, I mean, ain't nobody trying to buy no generator. I ain't even using that. But it comes in handy. You know what I mean? It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, someone asked. I'm sorry, Bishop. Did you want to go? Okay. Yeah, someone asked the question: do they still have the hand crank radios? not only do they have hand crank radios still, they also have hand crank flashlights.
Yep.
And in the event you want to invest in those. Now let's go to the next category. This is
Well, hold
very
on.
important. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry.
hold
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you this one. So I know you got a bunch, but we're sitting at 125. So I'm gonna
Okay.
let you do this last one
Let
here.
me do one more. Okay.
Then I'm gonna let you do this last one, and then
Okay.
we're gonna shut it down. Now, if we need to come back later on and do that, then we will.
Yeah.
But but we already 125 and a half. So I'm gonna let you go and hit
Okay.
this one. And
Okay.
then we're gonna wind it up.
It's a very important category because when trouble gets going, people are going to be calling, and that is the police. Now, if China can take down the 911 system, nobody's coming. You are on your own, and you need to understand that. But let's say the system is still running, cell phones are still running. We're in the early stages of this. In the US, there is only 2.4 police to every 1,000 people.
Mm.
In a disaster, the focus will shift to infrastructure protection, not people protection. Keep in mind when the riots happened, what did you see? They were defending the government buildings and they let the rioters burn down people's businesses and stuff. It did not, that the focus shifts. Now,
Interesting.
keep in mind that during Katrina, officers stayed home to protect their families, which I don't blame them. The looting got to be so bad and the gangs were so violent, I'd have stayed home to protect my family too. Now, in a city of 1 million people, you will have 2,400 officers where only 400 to 800 will be on duty at any given time because they got to run 3 shifts. Now, in peacetime, 400 to 800 can manage 1 million people because people are trying to be civil. But during emergencies, the call volume coming in to a police station can increase by 600%. So, and I'll give you an example of it. During Hurricane Harvey, over 75,000 calls came in the first 24 hours. Now, keep in mind, you might only have 400 or 800 police officers, a total of 2,400 if you tell everybody to work multiple shifts, but you got 75,000 calls. A lot of people aren't going to see them. They're not going to see them for days, if ever, because the system is overwhelmed. During good times, police response can average 10 to 25 minutes. Bad times, it could be hours to never. You need to understand that. And you got a lot of people that don't believe in owning a gun. I don't believe in guns. Well, guns ain't the God, they're a tool. Okay. When this stuff goes down, when mass casualty event occurs on United States soil, terrorism breaks out, world war breaks out, you're going to wish you had something.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have something, you better hide behind somebody that does. But let me keep going here. You will, in a situation like this, you will be the first responder till help arrives, if ever. Okay, it's your responsibility to protect yourself when law and order goes down. Keep that in mind. And I'll stop there in case you guys want to add anything on the police.
Fuck the police.
Fucked up. You relied on those cocksuckers. You're an idiot.
yeah, that's all I gotta say about this. But that was a good one.
Okay.
But we gonna shut this down for the evening. Like I said, we've been on here almost hour and a half. Appreciate all of you for hanging on and listening and getting all the information that we putting out. Like I said, like, follow, share, subscribe. Both channels, Dominant Effect and Mike's channel. Hit both like buttons on both of them. That way we can get these shows out on a proper algorithm. Also, if you scan the little QR code at the top there, that takes you to the Dominant. Got a lot of stuff there. We got a lot of different codes you can put in. Put in the code the Dominant Effect, you get 10% off. Military veterans, you also get a discount as well. Go on there and check it out. Like I said, we got a lot of stuff on there. Those of you that's not on the Facebook group, come on over. Just go on Facebook, click in the Dominant Effect. We get you in there. We got a lot of information that we put out every day. We got a whole little community there, and it's actually steady growing. You know what I mean? We actually got a lot of people on there. And we put a lot of stuff on there, and we usually go through there every day and like and look at the stuff that's on there, and you know what I mean, and correspond. You said that you can also catch us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, everywhere. We're a little bit everywhere that you can think of. But like I said, I appreciate everyone. We see you in 7 days. We're gonna hurry up and get this done because I know Naomi sitting up in her bed. I know she got to pee right now because she been sitting in that same spot for the past hour and 30 minutes. Nice legs, by the way. Nice legs, by the way, but I know you got to pee. Go on there.
Okay. I'm going to say right now, it's time to circle the wagons because time is running out. Now, I'm not Chicken Little here saying the sky is falling. I want people to be prepared so they don't have to suffer when things go wrong. And there's an old saying that if you're prepared for the worst and you can deal with the worst, the good takes care of itself. If I'm ready for the worst case situation possible, I don't have to worry about it if everything stays good. You know, you want to get out in front of what's coming because, I mean, everyone's talking about economic collapse. They're talking about terrorism. They're talking about war, nuclear war, civil war. I mean, you're hearing all this stuff. And then Mother Nature's throwing things at us such as floods, droughts, wildfires. Get out and get additional training right now. First aid, gardening, communications. Get you some self-defense tools. Learn to make basic repairs, etc. The more knowledge, the better. The more self-sufficient you are, the better. No matter how much gear and equipment you have, the most powerful tool is you. Always remember that. So you want to get yourself as physically fit as possible through exercise and diet. And remember that when disaster strikes, all you have is what you have. And you got to make that work to get you through the situation. You're not going to have nothing else. So with that, I end.
Well, with that being said, much love, honor, respect to both of the panelists up here as well as the chat. Thank you both for coming in with the amount of knowledge that you guys always do every week. I'm always blown away, especially with Aaron. The amount of passion and detail that you go through it's immense, man. It's commendable for sure. With that being said, if you guys are on my side, make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be rating a friend we call him Flow State, but his name is Powder Dusty. So stick around for that. Make sure you guys like the video on both sides before you guys head out. It's absolutely free to do so. But until 7 days from now, we'll see you guys here in a little bit. Much love.